this set up. All right, sorry. Let's get it. Just kind of getting one more chart set up here before I begin. We're pushing highs. We took out pre-market. Took out pre-market highs. Let's see what this 5-minute candle is doing, and then I'm gonna go on some higher time frames, kind of analyze while I wait for that range. So pretty much got that range set. There's that high put in place. Let's mark it out. Boom. And then there's that low. Honestly, not too big of a range, but it's all right. Let's kind of see what happens here. Now, that being said, let's go on some higher time frames. We got hourly chart taking out those pre-market highs to the downside. Got some lows down there that possibly could want to come and take out. 15-minute chart, kind of the same deal. Not any really gaps. There's a really tiny gap down there on the 15-minute chart, possibly. Obviously 5-minute chart. We were just on that 5-minute chart. Oh, bless you. Thank you. All right. 1-minute chart. Kind of gonna wait for see what happens here. That low is at what? 25,210. Kind of seeing where that is. 25,210. Right at that, right above VWAP area. So, depending on which way this thing breaks out, it's gonna be interesting. But we'll kind of wait for this breakout. Don't want to diddle in the middle. Let me reply to a message real quick. All right, it'll be interesting to see what happens here. Do we got news today? Does anyone know? Uh, 8:30 we had unemployment claims at 8:30, so that's over with. Shoot, Chicago PMI at 9:45. So got to be careful for 9:45. Damn it. 9:45 news. All right, we're going to the downside. Looks like we're breaking to the downside. Here we go. Buckle your seatbelts. Got 30 seconds left. Pretty hard drop. I would prefer this thing to kind of to not get a setup until after 9:45. We got pretty much 6 minutes left till that news comes out. I don't want to get a setup because then with my Apex accounts, I can't take a position into news, but right 1 minute or before news or after that news. So if anything, I'll just take it on only my Apex accounts if I get a setup before news. I still take the setups, even though there's setup. If there's a setup before news, I typically still take it. Just have my TPs and stop losses in place. Typically, based on my data, it usually works out. But so, all right, we went. Now we're pushing it back up. Let's see what happens here. Trying to push it. Kind of bouncing off that view up area, so this is kind of good to damn it. Pushing back into this range, kind of rejecting off that bearish gap. We're overall in bullish territory right now. We're right above VWAP. So keep that in mind. Today may be like a chop day, to be honest with you. So be careful. It may be kind of a chop day. Now that news that's coming out 9:45, it's a yellow folder news, so I don't expect it to have really any impact on the market, but take profit trader doesn't allow 1 minute before or 1 minute after to be in a position before major news events, which technically PMI is, I think PMI was one of the ones, even though it's yellow folder, so we'll kind of see. I think markets kind of be waiting for possibly that news to come out too. We'll see. But it's a yellow folder, so there may not be any impact really. We're kind of just chopping around here, not getting any, you know. I'd prefer this thing to possibly come down and maybe take out those lows one more time before moving back up. Here it comes. Nice. Or can you see if there's news? Go to Forex Factory. Just type in Forex Factory and you'll see. There's a lot of support down here too. There's a lot of support right above that 200. So there's a 5 minute, 15 minute. We're still above, way above that 200, but we do have a pretty decent sized wick on that 15-minute candle. So something to be careful about. All right, so far it's looking good. I like this. I like this chop before news. I was hoping not to get a setup right before news, which is looking like price is kind of waiting for news to come out. So I have to wait 1 minute before, which is right now. 1 minute till news. $30 seconds. All right, we're starting to get a decent amount of buyers starting to come in. There's the news. A little bit of an impact. Not crazy, though. This small range. Bruh. Seeing what happens here. Alright, depending on the next candle, what this candle does is gonna tell me a lot. Alright, nothing. Damn it. I was hoping. I'm gonna kind of see if we can get a pop down here. Quick pop down here to and of course it's gonna leave me. Come on. Come on, no. No. Oh, are you kidding me? Sorry, I'm trying to see if do you stay in one time frame the entire time? No, it's important to look at multiple time frames. It's very important to look at multiple time frames. You don't want to just be stuck on one time frame. That's not good. Once it pushes past this pivot point, I'm canceling my limit order. That's invalidation for me if it pushes past that pivot point. As long as it stays below, I'm still valid. Oh my gosh. Double top, but not yet. Alright, that's pretty much invalidated. Damn it. Ugh. Bro. It left me. It left me behind. Damn, that was such a good trade too. Here, give me a second. I'll be back. Oh, bro, that sucks. That really sucks. Man, I wanted that trade. Freaking A. That would have been such a good start to my Thanksgiving weekend. Nope, it had to leave me. Bro, that was so good. Did you go to college? Yeah, you want to know a funny story? This is going to be... I went to college, and I was one class away. I was literally one class away from getting my bachelor's, and I never finished it. Yeah, so... literally one class away from a bachelor's degree, and I never finished it. And what was funny is I was actually joking about that. This should say words have power. When I used to work for Clorox, and I used to tell my employee, because we used to go to, I had a coworker, we were in college together, and I was like, watch, it's gonna be funny. I'm gonna get like one class away from finishing, and I'm not gonna finish. Exactly. I was joking around. Exactly happened what I said. The problem was I was at the end. I finished it, and they at the last time they added some extra class. So I was like, man, they added some extra class. By the time, it took me a long time, and I was like, all right, let me just go ahead and finish it. And then I finished that class, and they added an extra class. I'm like, screw this crap, I'm done. I'm not even gonna, so I just, and I figured, I was like, screw that, I'm not gonna really use it, so. I'm 18 years old, what advice do you have for me? So college is good if you want to be a doctor or a lawyer or an engineer. Those kind of professions, you obviously need to go to college. To be honest with you, like, college these days is not what college used to be. College used to be like, back in our parents' days, college used to be like, if you didn't go to college, like, you were a deadbeat if you pretty much didn't go to college. Like, you wouldn't be successful at all. There's no chance of you being successful. You didn't go. But today's day and age, like, it's not as important as it used to be. Right now, what's important is developing a skill that's valuable for other people, or a skill that's, any kind of skill. Any kind of skill you develop that's valuable, people will pay good money for you to, So like, even look at blue collar jobs, welders, and just a bunch of other blue collar jobs. They pay good money. They pay really good money. So biggest thing I would advise you is pick what you like to do. Don't necessarily go for something just because it makes a lot of money. Don't be that person that goes to be an engineer just because they make good money, or doctor because they make good money. Really choose what you love to do. Figure out what you want to do, what you love to do, and do that. Because you can go so much farther doing what you love to do. Imagine waking up. If you can wake up in the morning and you want to go to work, it's like, for example, me. Obviously, right, I like trading. I enjoy trading. It's fun for me. So I trade in the mornings. What I also love to do is I like to work on cars. So I also have a business where I buy and sell cars. So that's the two main things I do. I buy and sell cars, and I trade. So, and it's like, I'm in a position doing this. I love to buy and sell cars and fix cars and do all this, and I love to trade. So, like, a Sunday night, a Monday morning comes along, I'm excited. Sunday nights, I'm excited for the week. I'm excited for Monday morning. I'm excited for Tuesday. Like, for me, weekends are worse. Like, I feel worse on like a Saturday or a Sunday. Sundays I feel the worst because I don't do anything on a Sunday. Sunday's like my kind of like day of, like, I just rest the whole day. So I feel like crap on Sundays. And then Monday comes along, I'm excited for Monday. I get to trade, I get to go back to work. Like, so really pick something you love to do. Don't be that person that's like miserable for the rest of his life because he chose a career just for the money. Bruh, this freaking sucks. This is the hard part about freaking trading. It's like, would have been such a good trade. But see how I canceled my limit order? Why did I cancel my limit order? Look, if I wouldn't have canceled it, I pretty much would have almost gotten stopped out. Why did I cancel my limit order? As soon as it took out these highs, that's it. Invalidation. Because once it takes out these highs, there's a probability it's going to go for these lows down there. Higher probability now. So once, and same thing goes for these candle, body candle highs. That's why I said once it taps that body candle high, that's where technically my TP would have been. So once it taps where my TP would have been, invalid. That's it. I'm out. Because a lot of times it'll either sweep the highs, tap the body candle highs, and then dump to the downside. So for me, as long as it doesn't tap these body candle highs or take out the highs, I'm good for that position. That's why I kept holding my entry, just hoping it would pull back, fill me, and then go for those highs. But sadly, we did have a little bit of a, not really actually. Oh, a little, almost. Yeah, we had almost this candle right here. I mean, it came down and almost filled into the gap, but it didn't. So, but that would have been perfect if it would have came down, filled. It's kind of what I was looking for. Come down, fill this imbalance, and then run to the upside. Because I saw that it wants to go to that upside. So, it is what it is. I mean, it's part of trading. You got to be patient. You got to have your rules, your checklist of the trade you want, and if it doesn't work, if it doesn't give you the entry you were looking for, then you walk away. You don't take the trade. I'm using Ninja Trader. Ninja Trader, and I also have Thinkorswim for charting too, but I really don't need it. I just have it because I used to use it for options. But I'm pretty much a price action based trader, so I don't need much indicators, right? I could just trade off a price action. But a lot of people use TradingView. All right, we're dumping hard. Going for finance. If that's if that's something that interests you, yeah. I mean, you can make a lot of money in finance. So it's like, especially if you truly enjoy to learn, and this is a gauge where I would recommend. Are you someone who actually enjoys to learn about finance? Are you someone who sits there and like you enjoy to learn about it? It's fun for you to learn new information and just become smarter in that topic. If you have to force yourself to learn about it, like you don't really want to, like, obviously everyone has times, even when you love to do something or you love a topic, there's gonna be times where you have to force yourself. I'm not saying you're always gonna love it. Even I like to work on cars, but I have plenty of days where I have to force myself to work on cars. It's not like, it's not like I'm just hopping out of bed and joyful to go freaking crawl under a car every single day. But in the end, it gives you some kind of satisfaction. Like, for example, cars. I'll force myself to do something if I don't feel like doing it, but then the satisfaction you get after something gets done, it's like you get this like dopamine hit, almost like same thing from trading, right? You hit a good trade, you get this dopamine hit. Same thing with cars. You fix a car, you get this like dopamine hit. But yeah, if you love to do it, if you love to learn about it, I would, yeah, go for it. But just don't, I recommend don't be that person that goes for something like me. Goes for something and then gets halfway done or almost all the way done and goes, I don't want to do this anymore. So, you just don't want to waste money. Luckily, I didn't really waste a lot of money for college. But, I technically did kind of waste money because but that's just my experience, but I'm not saying that's going to be everyone's experience. But I feel like today's day and age, a lot of employers value experience over, and you'll see that when you apply. Like when you apply for jobs, one of the biggest things is having experience. So sometimes, like, people that even get like trade jobs or, probably even in finance, you could do it. Like, if you can get some kind of entry-level job and work your way up and get knowledge, get a certain type of knowledge in one, and then find another job that can get you a step further, and then a step further, and a step further. That's how some people do it. Obviously, different fields require, it's a little bit harder in some fields than other fields, but like, I have a cousin, speaking of finance, I have a cousin that's an accountant. She makes really good money. She works for some kind of like huge firm where, you got millionaire investors in this firm. I forgot what it was, but she works good. She had a huge house, makes really good money, so I don't know how much she likes to do the job now. I don't know, but one thing I can say is she does make good money. And she's kind of worked her way up in that company. Now she's like I don't know exactly what role, some managerial role. We had news at 9:45. We don't have news at 10. Oh, it's already past 10. There's some news at 10:30, but I don't think it was anything like, it was probably some crude oil or some crap like that. Let me see. 10:30, yeah, crude oil inventories. So, but that doesn't really matter for. All right, so what's going on? Let's see. Kind of same Tapping into that view up, rejecting off that view up, rejecting off the bottom of the 5-minute range. Get the... Just a little... Man, I'm getting all these. Give me a second. But all right, in terms of higher time frame, let's see what's going on in some higher time frames again. Like I said earlier, it's always good to go to higher time frames and see what's going on. So we still haven't took out these lows on an hourly chart. We got some room to the downside. Got some lows down here that still hasn't taken out, so there is room for those lows down there. Kind of looks like it wants to go for them. Seeing if there's any... oh, there was a gap. The gap got filled, yeah. Tapping into this imbalance. If you look on a 5-minute chart, right? There's that 200 on the 5-minute chart. Kind of tapping into it, tapping into that imbalance down here. And bouncing off it for now. You can kind of see why price bounced there. We had all these imbalances there. We had this high that was kind of set in place right there, paired with these imbalances. So we got buying pressure that stepped in right where that 200 is too. So it was just a good buying opportunity. But it looks like it wants to go for those lows, but it's gonna have to break that 200, which is gonna be a little difficult. And that really, like, that freaking sucks. It's like one thing that, like, I'm glad the trade worked out. But it just hurts that I didn't get the entry. Wow, Top Step bugging. What's wrong with Top Step? Is X down? Or whatever their platform is called? Top Step X? I don't have... Oh, wow. I don't use Top Step because they make you use their platform, so I don't like that. Thank you. Crashed and logged to everyone. Oh my gosh. Dude, I feel like I don't know, man. They're an interesting firm. I don't know. Seems like they're doing stuff to it's almost like they're hindering themselves with this whole controversial thing with Top Step of they don't allow any other firms to use it, and now they're like they removed the activation fees, right, which is good and everyone's all happy about it. But then on the back end, they did something with your payout. Like, in order to take a payout, it's harder now to take a payout. There's some kind of rule that in order to do a payout request after the first one, some kind of like, pretty much it's a little bit harder. And a lot of people are pissed about that. I don't know why. I just don't know why a prop firm just wants to piss so many people off. I just don't get it. Like, why do you want to piss so many people off? Like, your job is to appeal to the public, not piss them off. Like, you're creating so many enemies for yourself. Like, why do that? Like, why allow all these firms to use your platform and then all of a sudden just take it away from everyone? Really? I don't know. They do what they want, I guess. It's their firm. But yeah, I heard a lot of people have problems with, like, see, I never really have, like, how, it's like super rare for me to have a problem with Rhythmic. My Rhythmic accounts or, you know, or like my Trade accounts. I don't really have issues with them. Yeah, they changed their, apparently they don't have activation fees anymore. This was like a recent news thing. Everyone's top step is down. There's gonna be so much trolling going around in on X today. Every time Top Step is down, all the other people that hate Top Step will be like, well, Trade was working good today. Oh yeah, Ninja is better for sure. I mean, Rhythmic and Trade, like if you trade on prop firms, I mean, Rhythmic is, I think Rhythmic is good. Rhythmic is really good. I have Rhythmic and Trade because Ninja Trader only allows you one Rhythmic account, but you can have multiple Trade accounts. So I have Rhythmic for Apex, and then my Trade connection is for Take Profit. But I don't really have issues. Like, rarely will I have some kind of, you know, connection issues or something. You all have seen me have them before, but it's not like, it's pretty rare. Yeah, Apex has trailing drawdown. Yeah. They do have an account. So Apex does have an account with static drawdown, but it's like, it's not worth getting. It's like a 100K account with like $600 in drawdown. And you have to reach a $2,000 profit target. So it's like, if you can take sniper entries, those accounts are good if you can really like, if you can, since it's a static account, you work your buffer. So the more profit you make, the bigger the buffer you do have in those accounts. So it's good in that sense. So if you can catch a couple good trades and you can build that huge buffer, you can get past that 2,000, you can start taking payouts pretty early. But it's hard to build that buffer without blowing up the account, only getting $600 in drawdown. Do you know any prop firms with no buffer? No, typically every prop firm is gonna make you get a buffer, because obviously prop firms don't want you to pass the evaluation, get put in a funded account, and then, you know, make $1,000 and then just take a withdrawal. They want you to get past a certain buffer zone, you know, it's before you can start taking those withdrawals. So every prop firm is gonna have some kind of a pretty much that I know of, at least. But there are some good sales going on. So Apex also, let me check my email. Apex actually had a pretty good sale going on. Apex had, let me see if I could find it. Their Black Friday sale. All right, here it is. So obviously 80% off evaluations plus discounted lifetime PA fees. Special offer on 100K accounts only. So the 100K full size evaluation and the 100K static evaluation, you pay $59 evaluation price after the 80% off, and there's only a $10 lifetime PA fee. So there's only a $10 activation fee, which is freaking crazy. So you could technically get a, you know, get a 100K account for $59, and if you pass it within the time period, it's only a $10 PA fee. And a 100K account is actually pretty good. You get a decent amount of buffer in that. Let me check what it is. So it's a really good deal, actually. All right, let me see. And you have 6 days till this ends. All right, where's that 100K? 100K. All right, 100K full account. You get $6,000 profit target and a $3,000 trailing threshold. So you have to hit a $6,000 profit target and you get a $3,000. To be honest, it's not worth it. To be honest, it's not worth it because a 50K account is a $3,000 profit target and a $2,500 trailing. And the 100K is a $6,000, so twice as much profit target you have to reach, and you get like $600 more in drawdown, which is not a lot. So it's better to get the 50K. And then Take Profit Trader, I think is still, let me make sure. Take Profit Trader. So they got 30% off for life plus no activation fees. 100% initial test refund. So I guess they refund you if you pass. So 30% off for life, no activation fees, 100% initial test refund. So I think they give you like a credit from what That's pretty cool. I ain't gonna lie. So there's a lot of good deals going on. This is like the time to kind of get some accounts if you wanted to. Revenge trading after they open back up. Oh, don't do that. No, don't do it. Prop firms should just remove all these trading rules and cap how much you're able to make with them. So here's the problem with prop firms and why they gotta have so much rules. People take advantage of them. People don't trade him the most optimal way to trade him. Like, I even saw this yesterday, and I'm just like, yesterday afternoon, I was like scrolling through TikTok, whatever, seeing people's lives that were trading. And every person that was trading, pretty much every person was full porting. Every person was full porting their accounts. And it's just like, bro, are you like prop firms don't like that. When you full port and like it works, right? It's the method. I'm not going to hate on the method. It works because people full port, they pass the evaluation, they start full porting more accounts, and then they take a quick payout. And you can get to like, a $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 payout pretty quickly if you can hit that, winning streak. So they're just rinsing accounts. They don't want to be stuck in evaluation. They pass the evaluation in one trade, boom, get put in a funded account, take a couple trades, get past the buffer zone, request a payout, boom, they got money. So it is a way of rinsing the accounts. Prop firms don't like it, but it is a method to be able to kind of use this prop firm game. But it's not a good way of trading. First of all, it builds bad habits. You can make money doing it, but it builds bad habits. You can't do that in a live account. And if you're building bad habits in a prop firm account, if, something happens down the line with prop firms, if anything happens and you need to go to a live account, your psychology is going to be all screwed up because you've built so much bad habits with prop firm accounts that it's going to be so difficult for you to trade a live account in the future if you ever want to. You can't fund a live account with $10,000, run the account up $5,000, withdraw $5,000, and then blow $10,000 and then lose it because you took a crazy trade. So it doesn't work in a live account. It works in a prop firm account because you pay so little for the evaluation and the funded compared to your payout amount. But the ideal thing to like what prop firms would technically love to do, like the most optimal way for prop firms to work, but you have people that take advantage of prop firms, so they have to have all these rules. The ideal thing for prop firms to do to run the most efficiently they possibly can is you have evaluations, right? You charge everyone for your evaluations, charge for activation fees, charge for all that. Then you have people that pass the evaluations, get put in a funded account, and then those people that can consistently get payouts and are disciplined, and they can see that they're not blowing accounts and they're constantly, you know, growing and getting payouts and working their way up. You take those traders and you put them in a live account and you copy their trades. So, you know, you have a profit split with the traders and you're copying their trades and making money off them at the same time on the back end. So, but most people rinse accounts. You have very little amount of people that actually prove that they can trade, and, you know, they're not going to want to put you in a live account. And then people complain about getting banned. Like, people complain about getting banned because they keep rinsing accounts and keep doing this and taking payouts and payouts. Yes, it does work, but the prop firms don't like when people do that. And it makes sense. I'm putting myself in the prop firm's shoes. I also wouldn't like people doing that. But it does work, so you can't hate you know, it's like, don't hate the player, but it's not something I do, right? I'm like one of the only traders on social media where I'm actually patient. Like, you can see me come in, you know, a day, 2 day possibly, and not take a trade because I'm waiting for something very specific. I'm not sitting here taking trades left and right. I could do that. I could buy an evaluation account. I could buy 10 accounts, you know, have my P&L on the screen where it shows you that I'm in a $5,000 position. I would get a bunch of views and sell a bunch of affiliate commission. Like, I could technically do that, but it's not something I want to do. Like, my goal is to become a good trader. My goal is to have these disciplines in the prop firm route to be able to, when I go to a live account, that transition would be very smooth. I'm not building bad habits. People don't understand that. When you build bad habits, it is very difficult to break those bad habits in the future, right? People think, oh, I'm going to trade prop firms this way, and then, you know, I'll change. Once I need to go to a live account, I'll change. But what they don't realize is bad habits are incredibly difficult to break. Once you cement them into your mind, it is so hard to break that it's not worth taking those bad habits. Why not build good habits and slowly take payouts? And then if you do need to move to a live account, you've already built the necessary habits. You don't need to change anything. Like, for me, if I was to move right now to a live account, there is absolutely nothing different I would do. It would be the same exact way I'm trading right now. It would just be a live account. Everything would stay the same. So the transition would be very smooth. And at that point, I've proved to myself that I can trade. So the worry, the stress, and all that goes out the window. I'm trading stress-free because I've already proven to myself. There's nothing different. It's just, you know, trading a sim account versus a live account, your orders aren't getting routed to actually the book. In order to get those deals, all you have to do is use the promo code. Yeah, you can use, I have a promo code for Apex and Take Profit Trader. I appreciate if you use my code. It does, I mean, it's one way of supporting me. I don't charge people for anything. Obviously I do make, you know, affiliate commissions, but I don't charge, you know, I don't have a course. I do all this for free. I don't need to live stream. I can easily come in, like right now. If I wasn't live streaming, I'd probably just walk away. So I don't sell a course, have a Discord. So if you do support, I do appreciate it. If you don't want to, that's fine too. So Apex doing 100K for $69 total. Yeah. So right now, 6 days, you get 100K account, either the full size evaluation or the static. $59 for the evaluation price, and then a $10 lifetime activation fee. What happened to Top Step? It's not letting me trade. Yeah, their system is down apparently. Today's market is very bad. I don't know. I had a good setup for him. Yeah, you have to use the promo. You don't have to use mine, but you have to use some kind of a code. Make sure you do use some kind of a code, because if you don't, it's gonna charge you full price. You don't want to get charged. You don't want to get charged full price. That would suck. So please, you know, like, I appreciate if you do use mine. If you don't, please just use a promo code. What else do they have? They have all other account sizes. So the 25, 50, 100K, 250, 300K, 80% off the evaluations, 50% off reoccurring months, $40 lifetime activation fees. So, pretty good deal. So like a 50K account, it's what, like 33 bucks for an evaluation, and then if you pass it, it's another $40 for an activation fee. If you pass it within the allotted time. So you're in it total, having a funded account, around 70 bucks you can be in total having a funded account. Alright, we're kind of chopping below view op here. We're just failing to displace lower. Just chopping. Look at this chop. That's wild. Just look at this. Just freaking pin needles. Chop is crazy. What time is it? 10:30. Still got some time. I'll stay on. I guarantee you so many people got trapped right here. This was literally a trap if I've ever seen one. They literally pushed it above view op. I mean, this candle was crazy. It displaced above view op and then just absolutely just dumped after that. So that's a fake out right there. It's probably like the algo is faking each other out. That's hilarious. I love to see that. Sucks if you were the one who got faked out, but you were playing basketball and someone crossed you over and broke your ankle. It's pretty much what happened. That's one way the market crosses you over. Just if you take away all these candles, you look at this like, holy crap, we're going up. We just displaced above view op. We're pushing above view op. We're pushing above the 200. We're in bullish territory. We just formed this big gap right there. I guarantee you, there's so many people who took longs off this gap right here. And then just like, it just completely just tanked to the downside. This candle is crazy. A lot of volume stepping in right here. Considering this one candle just took out all these candles. So this may not be a fake out. This may actually be the move. Who knows? That's why I look for confirmations. Like with my system, right? I look for confirmations. Right? Like what I was looking for. We had this 5-minute range here. Price close outside this 5-minute range, right below it. Right here, you see these candles closing below it? And then immediately buyers stepping right back in. That gives me a confirmation that we may want to go to the, we may want to start pushing back into the range, or we did push back into the range, so we may actually get buying pressure, right? The first 5 minutes, take a look at the first 5 minutes, like 20 to 30% of the daily volume happens in like the first 5 minutes. So you get so much volume in here that when price breaks out like this of the 5-minute range and then closes back inside the 5-minute range, right? A lot of buyers stepping in, and then when it leaves a gap, to me, I'm like, we may want to push to the next level of liquidity, right? Buyers are stepping in aggressive enough We're not displacing below the low, so sellers aren't taking over. Buyers are stepping in aggressive enough that we may want to take it to the next level. That's exactly why I had a limit order here, looking for these highs, because I figured there's a higher probability that we start going for that level than dumping back down. So had a limit order, but sadly it went to that level without filling my limit. So, but still, nonetheless, amazing trade. Usually I'll jump into a market order if hypothetically, if this third candle right here, if it would have opened down here, I would have just marketed in. Obviously, I can't market in all the way up here because look how much money I'm giving up. The risk becomes, it's too much risk for very little reward. But if I get in right there, optimal space, it's a 1-to-1. So ideally, that's the perfect spot. And like, I don't want to chase, even though I know there's a high likelihood we go for those highs. I still don't want to chase for that small chance that we go for those lows. And then if I lose more money than I was willing, that's not good. What do you think about price action today? I made 300, but it's kind of choppy. Yeah, it's been, to me, I mean, price action's been, and price action being good is very relative. Like, when I hear, you know what pisses me off? What pisses me off is when, like, somebody comes on and makes a video on TikTok, and, like, you know, they may be rage baiting, I don't know, but, like, when they say, you know, price action was garbage today. If you took a trade, you don't know how to trade, or if you took a trade, you're chopped, or whatever, like, you know, just like, they may be trolling, or maybe they're serious. If they're serious, they're just stupid. If they're serious, they're just stupid. Because, like, price action is very, like, relative. Like, price action one day could be amazing price action for someone's strategy, and for another person's strategy, it may be garbage price action. Like, somebody who trades support and resistance, a choppy market could be like the ideal market conditions for them, right? Because they trade support and resistance. Boom. It comes down like this. It comes down to support, they're buying. It goes up here, they're selling. So these, like, choppy markets, for those kind of traders, it's amazing. For other traders that take longer, you know, longer plays, they're looking at that same price action and going, this is such trash price action. But for another person, it is like the best time of their life. So, I mean, I think personally, I think price action was good in the morning, right? And good for me was, like, I did get a setup. So anytime I get a setup, I consider price action good. So that's like me speaking out of just my own bias of what I want price to do. So when price does what I want it to do, that's good price action for me. If I have a day where price doesn't do what I want it to do and I don't take a trade, it's kind of like, price action wasn't good, even though it may have been good price action. But yeah, it is, like, right now it's just chopping. And I figured, I mean, you got to think about it this way too, is we're coming in, tomorrow's a holiday, so you got to think about it this way. Like, do you think banks and, like, hedge funds and stuff are going to be getting into massive positions, and you think this is really going to, like, run up, you know, a huge amount right before a holiday? Like, probably not. We could get some chop because of a holiday coming up. I don't think a lot of hedge funds want to, like, you know, be getting into a position right before. This is me speaking, like, I feel like it's just risky, right? Especially Trump. Like, you just never know what he's gonna say. Like, last thing I would want to do is be in a big position into a holiday or something, like, with any news can come out at any time. And a lot of people took an early vacate, like, maybe, you know, a lot of people took early vacations, but that shouldn't matter really for the market, because 80% of the market is all algorithmics. It's all bots. So I don't know how that works. See, that's what sucks. Top Step fumbled me. I missed on a $750 trade. See, that's what would piss me off. Like, I just need a platform. I don't care if it's Top Step, Tradevate, Rhythmic, whatever connection. It's like, I need you to get me into the freaking trade when I get a setup. Like, you're costing me money, because if I get a setup and it was a good setup and I could have made money, who knows when I'm gonna get another good setup? I don't know. And that kind of stuff would piss me off. Like, stop trying to do all these fancy things to your platform. Stop trying to make some fancy crap. Just, all I need from a platform is the buy and sell button. The limit buy, limit sell, market buy, market sell. That's it. I don't need any other buttons. No other, like, for me personally, I don't need any other indicators. I don't need some freaking ATM strategies and, bruh, none of that crap. Just get me in when I want and get me out when I want. That's it. That's all I want. That's part of the reason why I never wanted to go with a long time ago, I wanted to trade Top Step, but after they did this whole, like, platform thing where you have to use their platform and crap, and I'm like, I don't want it. And you gotta understand too, anytime you get a platform that's brand new, there's gonna be birth pains, right? There's gonna be stuff, there's gonna be problems, there's gonna be errors, there's gonna be data loss, like there's gonna be stuff that's gonna go wrong because it's a new platform. But if you go with a platform that's been around for a very long time, they got everything dialed in, you're gonna have a lot less things happen, a lot less, problems with a platform that's been around for a long time versus a platform that just came into the market not long ago, and they're still trying to tweak their platform to make it good. All right, now we're kind of starting to displace above these highs. We're above VWAP. Looks like we're going up. We're above VWAP, so we're in bullish territory. Man, I keep moving my bad. I gotta keep my chart like this. Sorry. Waking up and full porting after. Yeah, don't do that, man. Control your emotions, bro. Control your emotions. Don't go into the freaking holiday pissed off. Last thing you want to do is go into Thanksgiving and be pissed off. A holiday where you're supposed to be thankful for, you're freaking sitting there pissed off. Uh-oh, is this a sweep? So, like, look at price now, right? Either it has to hold this. If it holds this and breaks the highs again, that kind of, to me, confirms that we held this support and we're going higher. If it starts displacing lower, then it was a sweep. I was taking 140 to 75 and played it in less than 5 minutes. And it played in less than 5. 140 to 175. Let me see. $140? Damn, you caught the bottom. You would have caught the bottom tick of that move. That's crazy. You would have literally caught the bottom if you caught it at 140. Yeah, that would have been a good trade. It's alright, dude. It is what it is. I mean, one thing you don't want to do is get emotional and freaking start taking stupid trades. I used to do that so many times. It's crazy. I look back and I'm just like, the amount of mistakes that I've made in my trading. Like, it was so hard for me to be I would get stopped out. I would immediately try to get back into a trade to try to make that money. It would be like nasty spiral downhill. I understand fully why so many traders lose money, but like, you have to be so, and here's the other misconception about trading. When people tell you this like BS of like, you have to learn how to become a robot. You have to learn how to become emotionless in trading. Like, you have to learn how to be emotionless. It's not true. I'm sorry to break it to you, but like, you're always gonna have emotions in trading. No matter if you've traded for 2 years or you've traded for 20 years, you're going to have emotions. But like I always say, the difference between a professional, profitable trader and somebody who's not is not that the difference of if they have emotions. It's the professional has a plan and a strategy and has data, and he can get emotional, but he doesn't let his emotions control his strategy and data. He has a plan. He follows his plan. If he gets stopped out, he gets stopped out. He may get emotional, but he's not going to cancel his stop. He's not going to move his stop. He's not going to do any of that BS. He's just going to let the data play out. Obviously, nobody likes to lose. Nobody likes to lose. So people are going to get emotional when you lose. It's not the fact of not being emotional. It's the fact of don't let your emotions control. If you've backtested something and you know it works and you know exactly what you're doing, like where you should get in, where you should exit, you're very systematic, you're just following your rules, then what's the point of being emotional? You got to let the data and statistics play out over the longer term. You may go through some drawdown depending on your win rate. Obviously, people with higher win rates go through less drawdown. People with lower win rates go through more drawdown. It's just math. It's statistics. It's just like, it's all this crap is statistics and data. And the other thing is when and I've heard other like traders that have been trading for a long time, and when you ask them like, do you journal? And they're like, that's the biggest red flag for me. If you ever get a mentor and he tells you or she that I don't journal, to me, that's a massive red flag. Why? Because like I said, trading is data and statistics. How do you know if you need to improve on something or you need to, fix something in your trading, or if you're doing something wrong, if you don't keep track of your data, if you don't keep track of your trading statistics? Like, you're just doing this blindly. That's the equivalent of a business. Imagine if Walmart didn't have data and inventory management processes and all this, right? They would fail. Walmart would fail if they didn't have data behind what they do. How do they know Thanksgiving just is happening or Christmas is about to happen? How do they know how much freaking Christmas stuff to buy in order to not buy too much? They buy based on the data of the previous years. That's how they buy their inventory for Christmas or these holidays. Same thing with your trading. If you don't have data, if you're not keeping an eye on, Novembers are horrible months for me usually based on my data. So let me scale back a little bit this November so I don't lose as much as I did last time. Every time I do this, I take a loss. So let me stop doing this so I stop taking a loss. And people don't realize the slightest tweak, like the smallest tweak that you make to your strategy in times of choppy markets, or the smallest tweak can boost your win rate up a lot. So you can go from having, a 65%, 60% win rate to a 70, 75 just by a small tweak. And that's why I say data is crucially important. I data my losing trades. If I take a losing trade, man, I analyze that trade and like write down all the red flags. I may have taken the trade according to my plan, right? But maybe I took the trade and it was below view op. Maybe I took the trade and there was a bunch of gaps to the upside. And if that happens time and time again, and I journal it, and then I go back in my losses and I see patterns in my losses. Oh, look at this. I took a loss right here, but that long was right below view op. And I took a loss here, and it was the same thing. It was right below view op, and I longed into view op. So what? Guess what? Next time that happens, I'm going to stay out of that trade, even though I'm getting my own setup. And it's just like, it's important. Data is super important to your trading. If you're not having data, you're just blindly just trading. That's it. You're just hoping. You're living off of hopes. You don't know what you're doing wrong. You don't know how to improve. And if you don't, if you say, well, there's no data there's nothing for me to journal. And I heard this in other trade. I'm not gonna put anyone on blast, but it's just like, I heard another trader is like, you know, he trades like trend lines or whatever. And somebody asked him about journaling. He's like, what's there to journal? What am I gonna journal? That I drew a trend line and then it broke out of the trend line? Like, I don't know. If that works for you, it works for you. But like, to me, drawing random lines on a chart discretionarily is like, I don't know. It doesn't seem like it's a profitable strategy. I don't know. I guess if it works, it works, but I feel like it's very discretionary to, like, in hindsight, trust me, I'm somebody who's tried trend lines. It didn't work for me because it's too discretionary. Like, when you go back in hindsight, right? You go back in hindsight and you look, you're like, oh yeah, look at this. Look at this. Wow, look at this trend line right here. Boom. Wow, if I would have bought this and I would have made so much money. But in reality, it doesn't work that way. Your discretion, you're going to draw it wrong. You're going to buy right there, get stopped out. Like, it's just, if it works for somebody, it works. But it just seems too very discretionarily. I like to be very systematic, where, like I said, you need to be able to miss a day of trading, come back at the end of the day and tell me exactly where you would have bought, where you would have sold, if you would have bought anything, if you would have stayed out, if there was an entry. You should tell me exactly where you would have entered. If you can't tell me that, then your data is not solid enough, in my opinion. And this is all just my opinions. We're looking for long or shorts here. I mean, I'm personally, we're back in this 5-minute range. I'm personally not looking for anything. We're 15 minutes away from 11 o'clock, so I had one setup. I had one setup early in the morning right here. Off this, kind of off this gap to those highs. I didn't get a fill. I didn't get my entry I wanted, but that's my setup right there. And I was targeting these highs, and that would have been a $2,600 trade, but I didn't get what I wanted, so that's what I was looking for. And here's another thing. I trade what I understand, right? Don't try to be an expert in every area of the market. Don't try to be an expert in this and that strategy. Find one strategy, backtest it, and if it proves profitable in backtesting, then forward test it. And while you're forward testing it, gather the data while you're forward testing it. And, you know, if it's profitable, all you need to do eventually, there's going to be times in the market where you're going to need to tweak your strategy. And you can start tweaking your strategy based on, like, based on how you want to trade it. If you go back and you go, oh, if I can make this tweak, if I would make this tweak right here, this would have been a winning trade. Let me look at the other losses. Oh, okay, this loss too. If I would have done it this way, it would have been also a winning trade. And you start to tweak your strategy, and you just get better and better and better. And then you become an expert at what you're doing. You don't need to be an expert at everything. You need to be an expert at one strategy and then consistently just make money with it. And that doesn't mean you're going to make money every week. That doesn't necessarily mean you're going to make money every month. But if you can be positive and you can make those necessary tweaks and you can slowly grind up and you can get to a level where, you know, you're making $5,000 a trade eventually, and that's why I say it's a slow process. It takes time to get there. It takes discipline. And then you get to a point where, you know, you're making $5,000 a trade and you could take 2 trades a month and make $10,000. So you're kind of just like looking for the best setups. That's why some of the most profitable people are the most patient people, because they don't need to trade all this, you know, all this crap. They need to wait for one high quality setup that they're an expert in, and they take the necessary position size, they make their money, and they walk away. So that's why a lot of traders you see that are super profitable, they're taking, you know, 1-2 trades a week. They're not taking, you know, 5 trades a day. Maybe scalpers are if somebody's a really good scalper and that's their strategy, but most of the time, What am I trading? I'm trading NASDAQ. So right now, right, look at NASDAQ. We're holding VWAP right now. We're kind of bouncing off VWAP, bouncing off this 200, holding this as support. So far, we're holding it as support. This high, right? This high, we broke it. It turns into support. So in order for this to continue going up, we need to keep holding this as support. If we fail to hold this high as support, will we start dropping lower? Could probably drop and tap into this, tap into this gap or go for those lows. And always, you want to look at trading as probabilities. Where price is right now, is there a higher probability as of right now? Like, let's take it right now. Where price is currently, ask yourself, is there a higher probability that it goes for this high or goes for this low down here? Currently, where we are right now, there is a greater probability that price goes for this high than that low. Currently, I'm not saying that it's gonna go for that high, but currently there is a greater probability it goes for that high. Why? First of all, we're bouncing off this right here. We're bouncing off this high. We're above the 200. We're above the VWAP, so naturally we're in bullish territory. So that already gives you an edge. Not saying it won't crack. We're also coming to an 11 o'clock mark, so market's gonna get choppy, so that's another factor. But in my eyes, there is a higher probability it goes for that high. Oh crap. What the heck? You can see price is trying to push up. Take a look at some other time frames. I always periodically just go to different time frames again, right? Nothing really changed, obviously, on the 1 minute chart. I mean, on the 60 freaking hourly chart, not 1 minute. Right, we're still kind of now 15-minute chart. We're back into this 5-minute range, back inside. So nothing really changed. And that's what I'm saying. You look at trading in probabilities. Like, if we were to break this low, man, this little freaking thing is flying around here. If we were to break this low and start trending lower and get below VWAP, get below that 5-minute range, then I'm like, all right, there's a higher probability it goes lower. But currently, like I said, right, look where price is going. It's not magic. It's just probabilities. That's all you do in trading is you're trading probabilities. Nothing different. But in order for you to know the probabilities, you got to have the data behind it. That's why you'll hear professional traders go, oh, this strategy has an 80% win rate. So it's like, all right, like pretty good odds. If you tell me, pretty good odds. So that's why they're so confident to they got big accounts. They've run up their accounts. They take, some of them take bigger position sizes because of their confidence. And that's why I wait for higher probability setups. If somebody tells me, hey, this setup has a 70-80%, probability it's going to hit target, like that's a good odd. That's a good odd that I'll take that odd any day. And it gives you more confidence. If you backtested your strategy and you know the win rate, bro, this little freaking, it's like a fruit fly or something in here. Pissing me off, little bastard. I think I left my drink. Oops. So, golly, this little bastard keeps flying around my face. So I'm gonna be on for probably like 8 more minutes till 11 o'clock. You ever trade S&P? Yeah, I've traded S&P. I used to trade ES. Or MES, actually. Yeah, so the main difference for me, in my opinion, of NASDAQ futures and S&P futures, S&P just moves a lot slower. S&P's just more tame, like, it's just like, it's a lot slower moving. NASDAQ is more volatile. There's a lot more volatility in the NASDAQ. So for some people, they love the volatility. Others, they want the slowness. They want the slower action. So it just depends on what you like. I like NASDAQ just because, like, right, if I have a high probability setup, I like me getting filled and then, you know, price running to my TP. My goal is to get filled and for price to run to my TP, obviously, as fast as possible. That's everyone's goal. So the less exposure I can have in the market, the better. So if I can take a trade, a high probability trade, and then be out of it in less than 5 minutes, then I'm happy. I don't like to hold longer term because I don't know. The longer I feel like the longer I hold, there's a greater chance that Trump can say something, some news can come out. I mean, something can happen. So for me, in my opinion, I want the least amount of exposure in the market. That makes sense, right? It's not that I'm just getting in and scalping 10-point moves. Like, obviously I have a strategy, but with NASDAQ, it, like, a lot of times it'll hit my entry, you know, and it'll, as long as there's no resistance anywhere, it goes to TP pretty quickly. So what did I tell you earlier, right? Higher probability. Now that we're up here, there's a higher probability we get some kind of a pullback. Not saying a pullback necessarily to these lows, but it's just buyers and sellers. You get to a high, right? Sellers, the buyers that bought low now are starting to sell. So you get a lot of selling pressure stepping in. Your trading must be stressful, imposing your beliefs on the market. No, it's not my belief. Like, when I wake up, here's the thing. Like, I don't care what the market does. I really don't care. I trade price action. I trade price action, and I look at it in terms of always just probabilities. I know the market doesn't have to do anything I want it to do. The market can stay irrational a lot longer than I can stay solvent. So that's the only thing you could do to be a good trader is you find something, a pattern in the market that repeats itself that is profitable, and you just follow it. And then you make adjustments on that strategy based on different market conditions. And that's all pretty much you could do. There is no secret indicator. I'm just going to get it out. Like, there's no secret indicator. There's no secret strategy that's like, you know, that's going to make you money every single time. There's none of that. So if you're trying to look for some secret indicator strategy, some buy-sell indicator that's going to tell you exactly, it doesn't exist. And it will never exist. So stop trying to chase it. Understand the market in terms of probabilities and trade it based on a strategy that you've back-tested and proven that it makes money, that is profitable. And you get confidence from your back-testing, you forward-test it. It's just bad PA today, bank holiday tomorrow, can't expect much. Yeah, and I said this in the morning, right? Like, don't expect too much out of today. It's a day before a holiday. So you're not gonna get crazy moves today. Most likely, you're not gonna get crazy moves. It's gonna be a lot of just chop sideways. But I mean, there still was opportunities. I mean, there were some opportunities, so. If you have any questions, I'm going to be on for a couple more minutes and I'm going to hop off. Like I said, we're going for those highs. But nonetheless, pretty good day. Pretty good day. And if you're sitting there and you're starting to go on tilt, you're like itching to take a trade, walk away. Please don't force anything. Don't put yourself in a position to where you go into the holiday pissed off and with a blown account. Don't put yourself in a position. Market's gonna open up Friday, right? There'll be more opportunities. It's fine. It's not the end of the world. But that being said, that's pretty much it. I'm gonna hop off. So, pretty good day. We keep it grinding slower. Slowly but surely we'll get there. I'm just waiting also for that, like, November price action has not been the best for me, to be honest with you. It's not been really, like, it's not that I'm taking a bunch, it's not that, like, I'm in crazy drawdown. I just been, like, you know, hovering around break even pretty much all month. And that happens with trading sometimes. You have amazing months where you're just getting setup after setup after setup, and then on the months where your strategy doesn't work as good, you got to play the defense. You got to play the defense, because if you start losing a bunch of money and you don't play the defense, then when the good months do come, you're just making back losses. That's it. So, what does LWM mean? Oh, I just zoned out for a second. Is the index fund for small cap stop? Oh, I don't. All I look at is Nasdaq. I'm a Nasdaq person. I'm a Nasdaq person. Nasdaq's the only thing I look at. I'm not gonna look at anything else but Nasdaq, because I just want to be an expert Nasdaq, right? I've been trading Nasdaq for like 2 or 3 years already, and I become familiar with one thing and my strategy with one thing, and that's all I need. I don't want to jump to other things, because other things move differently. So if something works, I just don't want to. So I just trade Nasdaq every day. I know how Nasdaq likes to move. I know how. So it gives me a little bit of an edge because I've been watching it for so long. $3,400 on keep playing 10 minis on evals. That's crazy. I'm assuming you have multiple evals. But $20 used 5 at a time. Yeah, when I was passing my evals, I was actually trading these last ones. I was trading the same way I am. I don't go hardcore even on my evals. But I mean, what you can do is I would still wait for a good setup. You know, wait for a good setup and go for a good setup to actually go hard on to pass the eval. Not try to just, you know, buy at a support just because it's at a low. Not having a strategy. But especially with like a bunch of evals, I like to take it slow because I don't want to blow 10 evals and then reset them and then, you know, keep blowing. That starts to stack up. So when I was passing my evals, I wanted to just like, I was taking it easy. I allowed myself for some losses and I just slowly built up, slowly worked my way up, and I passed the accounts. On my evals, I was risking $400 per trade. And it took me some time to pass them, but I got there. Price action usually isn't actionable on the last weeks of the year because profit taking. Yeah, there's a lot of factors that play into it. There's profit taking. I mean, like look at today, right before a bank holiday. So it's like, you know, we're not getting any crazy moves, but price is moving. That's why I trade strictly price action. It's like, if price gives me a setup, I take it. If it doesn't, then I stay out. I look for confirmations. That's the difference between me and other traders, is I actually wait for confirmations. I don't just guess. I don't guess of like, oh, price, we're at a low, let me buy. I wait for those confirmations, and so. Five and the 15 look good for a moved high. Yeah, it's already taken out this high. Now we're see what happens here. If it keeps pushing up or get chopped back down. Ugh. But all right, I'm gonna hop off. I'm gonna go get something to eat real quick, and then I got some work I gotta do. I've been saying that already for the past 10 minutes. All right, I'll see you guys Friday. So no trading tomorrow. And I'll be back Friday to end off the week. So y'all have a good Thanksgiving. Enjoy. Don't end the trading day on a bad note. Just walk away. It's better just to walk away if it's not working out for you. But other than that, have a good Thanksgiving, and I'll see you guys Friday. Peace out.